Hey, everybody, welcome to the live event. Today, I am going to be talking about green marketing and how to bring your boring statistics to compelling storytelling. And we're going to go over how to master some ways in green marketing strategies for your business. I'm excited to share some of these very valuable insights on how your company can effectively highlight its green efforts and leverage sustainability growth. So let me just take a look here and see who is joining in and just give everybody just a quick second to join. You can drop your where you're joining in from, and if you've got a particular industry or you want to list your business, that's fine too. But this is supposed to be, I guess, an interactive kind of a Q&A. So I've got my chat up. If you've got any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat from whatever platform you're tuning in from. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as X. So welcome, everyone. Again, we're going to be going over green marketing strategies. And today's topic is incredibly exciting because sustainability is not just a buzzword, it's a business imperative. And it's an imperative because your consumers, your investors, and your employees are increasingly prioritizing environmental responsibility of companies. And they want to see companies leading in operational sustainability, and seeing significant benefits from your green advertising, telling people, shouting it from the rooftops, what you're doing as an operation, as a company that is implementing these green strategies. So we're going to go over not just some ideas of what you can do, but some specific ways that you can tackle those and strategize with those in your marketing team. So the one would be, really bringing about a competitive advantage, right? So implementing marketing and green initiatives can set your business apart from your competitors. This gives you a very unique selling point and high value proposition that attracts eco-conscious customers and partners, investors, shareholders, and those employees. Or potential employees that you'd like to recruit and retain. So this also benefits your cost savings. So sustainable practices often lead to reduced waste and energy consumption. That directly impacts your bottom line by lowering your operational costs. That's something that your shareholders and your investors are really going to like to see. So another key component of green marketing is building out your brand loyalty. So by transparently sharing your green efforts and progress, you build trust and loyalty with your audience. This leads to long-term customer relationships. It builds that loyalty, right? And increases your brand value as well. If people can equate your brand with green practices, that builds an unbreakable affinity for your products. And then also you can attract top tier talent. So today's workforce, especially your Gen Z and your younger millennials, they really want to work for a company that aligns with their values. And they are very passionate about social justice and environmental sustainability. So a strong sustainability record that you can demonstrate from your company to these either current employees or the ones who you are looking to recruit and retain, those are the ones that are going to be attracted to the messaging that you put out regarding your green initiatives. So this really helps you attract and retain those passionate, high-performing employees who are motivated by more than just a paycheck. So having enthusiasm and providing your attention directly to green marketing relates to your business operations, because sustainability isn't just about doing good, it's about doing well. It's about the health of your company long term. So, by integrating green marketing strategies into your core operations, you can drive efficiency, innovation, and profitability. So, we're going to explore how to collect and leverage data, tell compelling stories, engage your team, communicate with your stakeholders, and use your green initiatives to enhance your recruitment and retention efforts. So, throughout our session, I'll be sharing specific tactics and real world examples to help you implement these strategies effectively in your own business. If you have effective strategies that have worked in your business, I would love for you to just go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my event on my cell phone here so that I can so I can see if there are any comments that are coming through here. Alrighty, so go ahead and again drop your thoughts during the session. Leave your questions. This is a Q&A. I'd really like to be this to be an interactive part of the whole green marketing webcast. And I really want to dive into what are the headaches that you're experiencing in your own industry or on site at your own business, to dive into also how we can drive positive change and make a difference in your business, and make your business not only more sustainable, but also more successful. So, this first section is really about highlighting your green efforts through data collection and transparency. So, the importance of data collection is really the backbone of any credible green marketing strategy, period, hands down. Collecting accurate data on your environmental impact is really critical. It's absolutely essential that your your customers and your shareholders, your investors can see the improvements that you're making. It not only that externally, you can influence internally your employees and your managerial staff as well to really keep going with the sustainability programs that are already in place. So you want to, one, conduct comprehensive environmental audits to measure your carbon footprint. So this can be an audit of your energy consumption, where you take a look at all of your energy bills over the last, say, 6 to 12 months, and you do a comparison to see where you've been able to reduce your energy usage. This could even look like water, tracking your water usage as well. One big thing that companies tend to look at is the water usage, because it's a little more palpable than just energy, right? You can feel it, taste it, touch it, whatnot. So the water use is really something that people can see on a daily basis when they wash their hands or flush a toilet or spray down the loading dock or whatnot. So using tactics to lower your water usage can impact your carbon footprint just overall. It's just a reduction in consumption, right? Another really big one that people do not that tend to kind of fly under the radar is waste reduction. And that's what my specialty is in. I'm a zero waste consultant. I'm the business owner of Zero Waste Strategies. So we work with businesses, large and small, institutions like higher education campuses, medical facilities. We've even worked with a Catholic convent full of nuns. But if you make waste, we can help you address waste reduction. So this would look like auditing your waste stream and seeing where those points of generation in your office or at your facility happen. Is it in the warehouse? Is it in the office area? Is it in the employee break room area? Do you have a cafeteria? And if so, do you have food waste management? What are you doing with all the food waste that's coming out of your business? Is it just going to landfill, or do you have a catchment system through like a compost service? So really auditing your waste is one way to look at where you can reduce your climate impacts, because remember, those things that head to landfill typically put off the carbon dioxide and methane gas emissions that affect our atmosphere. So we want to look at waste as one of the fastest and cheapest ways to bring your operational efficiencies up to snuff is by reducing waste and getting your recycling and your food waste catchment systems in place, and doing the staff training that's really necessary. So doing a waste audit helps you, and this is something that we do as well. We do waste audits where we're up to our elbows for 4-6 hours a day, where we're looking at the waste stream. We're pulling out the trash, separating that from the recyclables, pulling all the food waste out, and then we can really see what is the composition of the entire waste stream, and then we can break it down by percentages of what's what. And so there's a lot of information, a lot of data that can be gathered through waste audits, and then we develop out a report. Right? We provide recommendations, observations of where these reductions could happen, and ways to educate your employees, or hire us to do that for you. We do employee education as well. So then after that, you've really looked at and tapped into your resource use and your resource reduction, and you start to track on a weekly basis, maybe even a daily basis. You start to track and you start to see your points of data tracking downward. That's something that you can report on. So you can implement digital tracking tools and software. These are kind of portfolio managers. There's a carbon footprint manager software out there. There's waste software out there. We use Via Analytics, and it's a great way to put all of your waste tracking data into one platform. If you do hire waste via analytics, make sure to drop my name so they know that you got the reference from me. But they're a great company, and they have a lot more features than what I found in other waste management software tools. So think about doing that digitally. You don't have, even if you do it on a spreadsheet, that's fine too. But any way that you can track the data so that you can build out your reporting. Every company should be developing out some kind of sustainability report on an annual basis, especially if you have, let's say, more than 1,000 employees. It's really, really important to show your customers that you care. And this is one of those ways to do that, is by tracking the data and then sharing that data in a transparent manner, which brings me to the next point. That transparency builds trust, right? It's at the customer's fingertips. They can go on your website, look at your annual sustainability report, and they can see what is your energy, your water, your waste look like, and are you trending downwards? Are you trending to conserve and to reduce? So you want to share those findings openly with your stakeholders. Use your website, those annual reports, social media, publish those sustainability reports far and wide, especially if you have good news to report. Even if you don't have good news to report, the transparency is critical. So even if you have just flatlined, right, and you've broken even from the year before, or maybe even your usage has gone up, there may be ways to explain that. Maybe you've built on an extra wing to your facility, and you've seen your energy and your water and your waste go up a little bit because there's now more square footage. So there's ways that you can report that to where it's still transparent and you're still building that trust with your stakeholders, and you can develop a commitment to doing better over the next year or over the next 5 years, 10 years. And you can set goals. You can put that in your sustainability report. So I think the foundation of any business is trust between that business and their customers. So you want to use this as a trust builder. And then you can develop your annual sustainability report using recognized frameworks such as the EPA's WARM model when we're talking about waste. There's the Global Reporting Initiative or the Carbon Disclosure Project. So think about ways that you can use, you know, standard reporting procedures, and so that your data is comparable year on year, and then it's also comparable to other companies as well. A lot of times customers are using comparable data from this company in this industry and this company in the same industry, and they are comparing numbers. So you need to be able to use numbers and data collection processes that are standardized across the industry. And then create a dedicated sustainability section on your website. It includes real-time dashboards, interactive charts that display your environmental data and progress as well. People can see that, that little ticker go up. It's really exciting whenever you can see the stock market, inching up and down. Why not do that for your energy, your water, and your waste as well? So there are sensor technologies out there that you can put on your waste and recycling bins, your compost bins, even your dumpsters that will track the fill levels for you, and they'll identify contamination as well. If you need any good references on this kind of sensor technology, just reach out to me, because I have affiliate agreements, sales agreements with several sensor tech companies that I've already vetted that I highly trust. So let me know if I can help you in any way with that. So the next section is creative storytelling on your green journey. So you want to really craft the narrative. People connect with stories, and you want to share the journey of your sustainability efforts, the challenges, the successes, the ongoing initiatives, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? People would like to know that the companies that they're buying for are made of actual people. It's people internally that are running the companies that they love. So maybe you highlight something that humanizes your efforts, right? Include personal stories and posts from employees that are involved in sustainability projects. Really, you can use multimedia content, videos, infographics, blog posts to make the story more engaging and relatable. You can even put forth, kind of opportunity challenges to your to your different departments, right? Like you can say, we're going to feature on our social media platforms one department that is doing a really good job of diverting their waste or reducing their water usage or their energy usage, and we're going to track this over 6 months, and then whichever department in this building wins, then we're going to do a feature on your team. And that way people have kind of a motivation, kind of a sense of camaraderie, that we're all in it together, and we want to win. And maybe it's something outside of just a social media post or a social media campaign about what your employees are doing internally to be more sustainable. But there's something maybe a little bit more tangible. Maybe each person gets a $50 gift card to wherever, whatever your local shops are in your area. But it gives them something to rally around, I guess you could say. And so you want to use these different tactics and just layer them on top of each other: the video, the infographics, the blog posts, the social media posts, static posts, your carousels, to tell those stories. And then you want to highlight your milestones as a company, right? You want to celebrate and highlight key milestones. So this could look like if you've reduced your carbon footprint by a certain percentage, or if you did that before a certain date that you wanted to reach it by, maybe you beat the date, or maybe you switch to renewable energy sources. You've got solar, you installed geothermal. Make it a story about the entire journey, beginning, middle, and end. And the end should include the results of your tracking, right? So people want to see the whole story, but then what are the results of what you've been doing, and was it all worth it? So you can influence even other companies in your industry by putting out a good, solid storyline that incorporates the entire journey, and then also incorporates the human factor of it all. Who made it all possible? Let's highlight those people. Which companies did you partner with in order to get those solar panels, or the geothermal, or the new composting system that you put into place? Which companies were there to support you? Highlight them as well, and that creates more trust, kind of a symbiotic relationship where you're giving them some exposure. Also, it helps them gain more customers to do exactly what you needed them to do at your company in order to be more sustainable. So you want to create a timeline of those sustainability milestones, share it through your various channels, especially internally, in your on your intranet channels, so that your employees know where we're at and where we want to go and what needs to happen in between in order to get to that goal. So helping them understand through those various channels, social media, internal newsletters, company blogs. You can put this on the TV monitors out in the hallway or in the common gathering areas, maybe the elevator foyer. But this kind of keeps it front of mind for everybody, especially your employees. And your employees are going to be the ones who either make or break your sustainability program. So getting their buy-in is really key. So also think about developing out case studies or video documentaries that show significant projects and their impacts on the environment and the community. So one thing that just kind of comes to mind when impacting communities outside of the four walls of your office building or your facility is, if you've got a food permit and you have like a food cafeteria for your employees, or maybe you're even a food permitted business, helping community can, one thing that just kind of comes to mind is being able to legally donate food. And the federal government covers you through the Good Samaritan Act of 1996, that any foods that are still consumable by humans that are kept to proper time and temperature standards through your state's health department, and are donated to a local nonprofit that is certified to do food redistribution to needy communities. That is huge. It's a win-win from any angle that you look at it, because there's no legal repercussions for you as a company, and you are feeding the hungry in your neighborhood, in your city. And this gives you amazing information and data. You can demonstrate not only how much food you donated, but what kind of food, where it went to. So highlighting that nonprofit that you partnered with. And not only that, you can file for a tax credit on the following, that year's tax paperwork. So you can submit a manifest to the IRS with how much you donated, poundage wise, volume, and who was your partner, what are the dates, and just providing them with the typical fair market value of what was donated. You get to deduct a 15% of that fair market value from your taxes. So that's one other thing to think about whenever you're looking for innovative programs. There are things out there already that loads of businesses are getting involved with and getting the financial benefit while feeding hungry people in the community. So I love that example. And if you do have a food permit within your business, it's something that I would definitely look for in your local area for nonprofits that you can partner with to do that. So another one would be motivating your employees to buy in on sustainability programs. Remember, I said your employees are either going to make or break your sustainability programs. You need to find your green team. And by doing this, you can advertise, in your internal messaging channels to your employees, hey, we're building a green team when we'd like for you to join, no experience necessary, and really start building up the community that will help your managers have eyes and ears on the ground on each floor level in each department so that they can help answer questions from employees. Now, the green team is going to need to be trained, of course, on what the recycling program requirements are, what does and does not belong in each of the bins, all that good stuff. Make sure that the proper signage is there, that all the bin colors and coordinated with the color of the signs, and then helping your green team explain to their peers, the proper recycling techniques, and keeping that they're going to be able to help you keep contamination levels very low. And a lot of times, companies that haul off your waste, recycling, and composting, if there's cross contamination at a certain amount, they may start charging you for it. So making sure that you've got influential peer-to-peer network through your green team is really, really important to help everybody feel involved, heard, seen, valued, as well as empowered. You want people to feel empowered around these programs, not like it's a burden or not apathetic because they have to do it. They need to understand that it's good for the planet, it's good for the company, and it's good for your annual reporting as well. So bringing in that employee engagement factor is going to be a very strong point for your recruitment and retention as well. Your employees are going to be your ambassadors. So engage them by clearly communicating the benefits of sustainability programs. It's not just for the company, but for them personally and the broader community. It helps them also build up their leadership skills as well. And it's really a lot simpler to do that around something you're highly passionate about. So if your green team is going to be those kind of people who have volunteered to do a little extra work to make sure that the company's sustainability programs are on track and stay on track. So those people who are kind of bubbling up to the top as your key performers, your key cheerleaders, are going to be very passionate about this. So it's really helpful for them to be put into a position where they're going to help influence their own peers on site. So another way to get that buy-in from your employees is to host regular educational and training workshops and sessions. So these sessions will help educate employees on sustainability and how they can contribute within their working hours, right, while they're there on site. And then launch internal campaigns and even competitions between your departments, right? We talked about that a little earlier, to encourage sustainable practices such as recycling challenges or energy saving contests, whatever you can do in order to engage those employees so that they feel, again, seen, heard, valued, and that they start to take accountability for these programs succeeding. This is an ownership issue. A lot of times you'll see people who don't take ownership, they have an apathy issue. So helping them connect the dots in their own mind between what happens, with whatever's in their hand, that soda can or whatever, if it goes to trash, well, that's going to be a resource that can never be recovered again. It's going to be buried in a landfill. So putting it in the correct bin, in the recycling bin, actually goes downstream and helps create jobs and builds out local materials markets and helps people put food on the table for their own families. So helping them understand it's not just an environmental impact. A lot of people respond a lot better to the economic impacts of recycling and food waste composting and keeping these highly valuable, salvageable materials out of landfill that could be burned or buried off whenever that trash load reaches that facility. So you want to also incentivize people's participation. So we talked about the $50 gift cards a little earlier, but Offering incentives for sustainable behavior could be in the form of recognition programs, even financial bonuses, additional paid time off for those who actively contribute to those sustainability goals. You can implement a recognition program that rewards employees for their contribution to sustainability initiatives, such as the Green Employee of the Month. So you can also offer tangible incentives, so bonuses, gift cards, those extra vacation days, who lead success to people who lead successful green projects or campaigns, or they achieve specific sustainability targets, either within their own green team or their own department on their floor level. It could be a whole floor competing against all the other floors. So think about it in a kind of a holistic way of what are people going to get excited about, because that's what really changes hearts and minds, is when people have an emotional investment to change their habits. No one's going to change their habits when you tell them to. So that's kind of like a pattern of demand avoidance. And I know I have that quite a bit, is demand avoidance. So when people tell me to do something, I usually don't do it. But if I have an emotional reason of why I need to change my behavior, I will absolutely do that. So another section of this webcast is informing your employees, your shareholders, and your investors on your green initiatives. So you want to provide regular updates. And again, put all your questions and your comments into the chat section so that I can review those, now while we're live, or be able to follow up with you a little later to answer your questions specifically. So these regular updates, they're really you want to keep all your stakeholders informed with those regular updates. You want to use newsletters, internal communications, and your shareholder meetings to provide progress reports. So think about these as developing quarterly sustainability newsletters to update your employers and your shareholders on the latest initiatives, your progress, your future plans. And you want to integrate sustainability updates into regular company meetings and investor calls to keep the topic front and center for everybody. You want to look at, engaging presentations. So using engaging presentations with visuals and real-time data to clearly communicate your initiatives and their impact is really significant. And it helps people feel like, oh, okay, I'm part of that data. The decisions that I'm making, whether it's water, energy, waste, whatever the operational costs are, you can relate that back to an individual effect. And so making the use of graphs and charts, visual storytelling can make information a little bit more digestible for people. So you don't want to just put like a bunch of spreadsheets up there with little boxes and people can't read them. You want to make a story out of it. And if it takes pulling that data and putting it into graphics, and then those graphics be paired with, a certain department that people can relate to because, oh, I work with them every day. That's more along the lines that I'm talking about. So yes, take your high level data, but filter it down into something that is relatable, that people can really get behind. They can see themselves in the story. So you'll also want to, create visuals that are high definition, that highlight key data and success stories. You'll also want to incorporate interactive elements. This could be kind of like what we're doing today: Q&A sessions, feedback forms. You could do anonymous online surveys as well, to get people's perspectives, and even any I'd like to call them nuggets of gold. You're kind of mining for gold, if you will, to see what people's perceptions are around the current programs that you already have in place for sustainability, and also their desires for either expanding programs that are already currently online or starting new programs that haven't been implemented just yet. So when you can see that there's a buildup of, kind of grassroots pressure from the employees. And this is something that happened at a major international pet food brand that hired us to do a full facility zero waste assessment, and to provide them a waste audit and employee training and kind of a top to bottom look at their internal operations and where they can reduce waste. Um, it was really telling that not only did their employees organize themselves into a green team, but that green team went around and took the initiative to do interviews and to make observations on their floor or within their department. And then they started getting people to fill out a survey about putting composting into the cafeteria. This is a 3 million square foot building with 3,000 employees. 3,000 employees did not have access to food waste composting whenever they had a huge cafeteria that served a lot of people. So there was a kind of a worker outcry, if you will, and then they actually implemented the composting program for their employees, and their employees were very happy. Now it took quite a bit of training because in the beginning there was some cross contamination issues that they were getting fined for by the compost hauler, but eventually that works out, and then you're going to start being able to kind of right size your other services. So if you are diverting 30-40% of food of your entire waste stream, which is typically food waste, that 30-40% is going to go to another bucket. It's going to go to another type of dumpster or a compactor, right? So you've got all this 30-40% of space that's now available in your trash dumpster, which is where it would have typically gone, right? All that food waste before your composting. So now you can right size your trash services. You can call your hauler and say, hey, we need to adjust the terms of our agreement. We don't need 12, 10 cubic yard dumpsters on site anymore. Now we need 12 cubic yards. We don't need 6 pickups a week. We need 4. So you can start to renegotiate your hauler contracts as well, which is going to save you money month over month. So just think about those kind of business examples that I'm giving to you, and how can that apply to the business that you're running as well. And then the final section of this webcast is using green operations to recruit and retain top tier talent. So remember, we talked about your kind of younger millennials and your Gen Zers, and even your Gen Alphas are starting to get like, their first summer jobs. I have a nephew who's about to turn 15, and he wants to get a job, be it mowing lawns or working at a local snow cone stand. Who cares? These kids are really starting to get hungry for real world experience and opportunities outside of their homework and studies, outside of their extracurricular activities. So they're starting to take the first peek into adulthood. So setting up your brand now to affect those Gen Z, Gen Alpha upcoming consumers, and people who will eventually become your talent in the recruitment pool, the employee and job pool. You want to set yourself up now and set yourself apart from your competitors. So got to attract the talent first, right? So a strong sustainability record can be very significant in drawing your top tier talent. So you got to highlight your green credentials. What are all of your certifications? And our company does True certification as well. So if your company is looking to get True certified, which certifies zero waste facilities, and zero waste is globally defined as 90% waste reduction from landfills and incinerators, your disposal methods, right? Then we get in there, we take a look at your operations, we do that waste audit, we educate your employees and do a fun training that's really engaging with games and true false quizzes and all of that. We have the opportunity to really connect the dots for your employees and help change their behaviors. And this is, just kind of that internal culture that you're able to create, where those new recruits can come in and maybe do a tour around your department or whatnot, and they can see all of the sustainability and green efforts that you're putting forth, and that's something that they really grasp onto, something that really aligns with their core values of social justice and environmental sustainability. So you want to put your green cred out there in your recruitment materials and on job boards. You want to promote your sustainability efforts in job postings, on career pages, emphasize your commitment to environmental responsibility. And then highlight your green projects, your achievements during interviews and onboarding sessions to showcase the company's core values and culture. Another way to get people to, once they are recruited, they have been hired, they've been onboarded. In the onboarding process is one way to make sure that they, as a new employee, are aligning with your company's sustainability efforts. Now, we all know that there is usually in the personnel policy, something that they'll sign off on regarding a safety policy. You can do the same thing for sustainability policies. So this is your new employees being onboarded and trained, and also signing, on the dotted line, I will follow the sustainability programs. And if I have questions about how they work, I will ask my manager. So this is one way to help managers leverage accountability, is through that paper trail, that documentation, where you can just pull it up and say, hey, remember that thing you signed? I'm seeing there's a lot of cross-contamination in these bins from the whole department. Let's have a refresher. And people will, maybe see something in the trash that shouldn't have been there that they can identify as their own. And they can say, oh, I did that. Yeah. And they can just internalize it. You're not here to point fingers or call anybody out. It's just, as a team, we need to do this a little bit better. And here's what I'm finding in the waste bins. You can even take pictures of the cross contamination and send it out in an email to your whole team and be like, hi, I just found this in the waste bin. What's up with that? There are 12 soda cans that should have gone to the blue bin, not the black bin. So let's all be a bit more conscientious about what we're doing with our materials. So in order to really retain the talent that you've already recruited, hired, and onboarded, it's really about retaining that talent through your sustainability programs. This can improve employee satisfaction and retention. So you want to demonstrate your ongoing commitment through continuous improvement and employee involvement. So you can offer professional development opportunities related to sustainability. You can help employees get their certification through coursework. You can even help employees grow their skills in, different areas. Maybe they've taken a strong liking to energy, consumption reduction. Maybe they like water better, or maybe they're a total trash nerd like me for the past 20 years, and they would naturally gravitate to the waste and recycling issues. So you can offer those kind of professional development opportunities, and this helps you kind of create that sustainability task force, committee, green team is what I was calling it earlier, that really allows your employees to actively participate in shaping and implementing those green initiatives, that helps foster a sense of ownership and engagement. So just to recap my closing thoughts, in conclusion, implementing innovative green marketing strategies involves a mix of data transparency, creative storytelling, employee engagement, clear communication with your stakeholders and investors, and leveraging sustainability to attract and retain talent. So if you have any additional questions, or you are watching this and you want to drop me a DM on LinkedIn or our Facebook business page, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, a business page. We also have, you can communicate with us on YouTube as well. You can go ahead and, just reach out to me, and I'll do my best to satisfy your questions with maybe like an industry specific answer. So if you are reaching out to me, make sure that you provide where you're located and where, what kind of industry that you're in. I wouldn't want to give you a an automobile industry answer for a food permitted business question. So we want to make sure that the answers are going to align with your specific question in your industry, and your location is important because some cities have recycling ordinances, some don't. So I'll need to do a little research on that. But either way, you can visit us on all of our social media pages, and you can also go to zerowaste.org. That's the number zero, not the letter O. And you can also just give us a call, 512-693-7677. So make sure to let me know if you would like to partner on any projects as well. We do have availability in our schedule to take on some new projects. So we would love to talk to you about, waste auditing, employee training, and doing full facility assessments if you want to go for that true zero waste certification. So that's all for me today. Texas Trash Talker signing out. Thanks to everyone for joining, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.